The idea today is to reach some hot springs pretty much on the Portuguese border, but the special thing about these springs is they're of Roman origin, so the Romans built all these baths. So you could go and chill in these Roman hot springs. They're literally built by the hands of Romans, so we're gonna do that. But to reach these springs and the Portuguese border, I first have to traverse some of the most remote, high altitude and extreme terrain in the Iberian Peninsula. Cutting inland and away from the coast for the first time in weeks, my route is going to take me deep into the wildest parts of Galicia before we arrive in one of the most remote border crossings in Europe and cross over into Portugal's untamed north. But first, what lies between me, the hot springs and the border is going to be hard, brutal off-roading. Let's do this. This is the Iberian Trail, a 7,000-mile attempt to circumnavigate the Iberian Peninsula using only unpaved roads and off-road tracks. No highways, no shortcuts, and no easy way out. When I set out to do this, I thought I knew what I was getting into, but the reality is, I didn't. What I expected to be tough turned out to be relentless. Breakdowns, recoveries, storms, dead ends, and long days fighting through places that most people never see. I thought I'd be finished by now. Instead, I'm heading into my 4th month on the road, having had to leave Europe to avoid overstaying my visa, but now I'm back. There have been many moments where I've seriously questioned whether this is even possible, but every time it tries to stop me, I just keep going. This is not a highlight reel, it's the reality of a long-distance off-road expedition that has morphed into a brutal battle to finish what I started. This is the Iberian Trail, 7,000 miles off-road alone, through some of Europe's last untamed places. So, if you take a look at what I'm doing here, it's just making my own way to where I want to be. So I'm actually pointing south right now. The green line is my pre-plotted trail, and the yellow line is what the trail that I actually ended up taking. So we're trying to make this here. It's like a lake system. I think it's possibly even a reservoir, but that's where the Termales is. So I don't want to go obviously all the way back to rejoin my green line. So I've just been studying these maps for about half an hour. And I think that I've plotted a way through by just literally looking at the maps. It looks like it's going to be pretty freaking cool because this is all unpaved road right here. Yeah, I'm going to loop around here and then up onto this moor. This looks like high moorland to me. And there's a trail that goes all the way across it. So let's see. We'll go check out this moorland. This is like totally, I've not seen this before. I've not pre-planned it at all. This is all just on the fly, making up the trail as I go along. This is like a great example of how this trail changes on a dime while I'm doing it, you know what I mean? Which I think is really cool, you know, it's part of the adventure, part of the exploration. It means that it's unique to me. This is something else cool, so I've just come to this intersection so we can go either that way, both dirt roads, but looking on my map, this is doing this all on the fly. This is going to actually lead to a paved road, so this is kind of what you have to be careful of. I'm going to have to take the right-hand lane, which is down there, and that will take me on a loop all around this little farm building thing, and then up onto the moor from there. Let's take the right. So here we go, it's starting to rain and I have no way to clear my windscreen. Class. I lost my windscreen wiper function quite some time ago. The internal wiper arms mechanism sheared off, leaving me with no way to clear my windscreen out on these trails. This is very much not ideal, but it's just one symptom of many issues that are afflicting this car at the moment. This is a multi-month four-wheel drive expedition and the cracks are really starting to show on this vehicle. Quite literally in some cases. I'm asking quite a lot of this 30-plus-year-old truck, and I feel as though there's going to come a time soon where it's going to bring me to a halt from a maintenance standpoint alone. But for now, we continue along these trails. It's great because I can't see a goddamn thing. Here I've pulled over to manually operate the windscreen wipers. God's sake. Having to stop and manually operate these wipers, it's not the one, let me tell you. I'm heading upwards into wild and remote terrain. Right up ahead is a plateau of high moorland, home to a sprawling wind farm full of turbines. The trails in these places are usually well maintained as service routes for the machinery. And after we cross this moor, we're going well off-piste into a true wilderness area of rugged mountains and rarely used 4x4 tracks. Wow, pretty cool area. So this is that wild piece of moorland that we were looking at before, and it looks to be a service road for this wind farm. So there's all these turbines, just a wide gravel road. Really, really cool. It allows me to make some really good progress, and it's also spectacular. After the moorland, I climbed higher into the rugged mountain range that makes up the border between Spain and Portugal, the oldest continuous border in the world. Man, this is so cool. I'm just like fully off-piste on like what I think are old fire lanes or service tracks or something, but like they are wild in the... Oh shit, I ain't going down there. I just stumbled upon and braked just in time for a near vertical drop-off on the trail. The camera struggles to interpret the scale of this, but this one is really something. Some of these are like just vertical, near vertical surfaces. Yeah, like this one. Holy shit, brother. Yeah, I do not want to take the Land Cruiser down that. That's vicious, mate. A rainbow over there. Yeah, I do not want to do that. This is like a bike trail more than anything else. All right, back we go. Oh, this is the problem with going off-piste. Sometimes you get real deep and you realize, actually, there's no way through. Ah, man. This is going to demand a reverse and work around. I'll have to plot a new route to the horizon that you see here that circumvents this drop-off. This is a vast and wide wilderness area that'll take me all the way up to the border. This is a quarry that I've been trying to reach since the early days of this expedition. Back in those first naive couple of weeks, I imagined that I'd be breezing through Galicia and crossing over into Portugal within the first 6 weeks on the trail. That was almost 8 months ago. 5 solid months of grinding in northern Iberia and 3 months spent in Mexico to avoid overstaying my visa. Before all of the great many mechanical disasters and brutal mud pits back north that held me for days. And before I learned the hard way that this expedition is going to be a lot tougher than I first thought. Alright, so we're in the real proper backcountry now on the border of Spain and Portugal. And so here we are, like fully off-piste in this wild wilderness area of northern Spain. And man, I just keep thinking, like, every time I come to these places, like, it shocks me just how wild they are. and how like unpopulated, you know, there's no one out here. I've not seen anyone all day. It reminds me of like places in Canada or in the Rockies in Colorado or somewhere like that, like the topography and the forestry. It's truly wild terrain out here, dude. This is mad. You can see bright sunshine over that way, and then proper full-on angry rain clouds up ahead right there in the valley. And where do we want to go on our crazy adventure? I guess straight on, and then we're going to drop down into this bit. I don't know whether it's like marshland or something, but it looks kind of interesting. And then we're going to try to loop right back around. We're not that far now away from our lake here, so we've come pretty far today, to be fair. Pretty much from that line there all the way down, and we're going to loop up and join with the lake there. That has been a solid day's off-roading, and despite a few setbacks, we've made some exceptional progress today. But by the looks of these trails, it's going to get wilder again before we reach the border. It's so rarely used, this track. You can barely see it through all of the long grass. I mean, this in winter, I imagine it's an absolute mud bath. Thinking about what I experienced up north, you know, and that bog hole, the mud pit. Like, this is going to be exactly the same in winter, I think. This is completely off-piste. Whoa. Man. Freaking undergrowth is as high as the car, just about. Whoa. Good God. So that ahead is the lake that I've been trying to get to for so many days now. This is the reservoir where is the Roman spring, so we're within sight of it now, literally. I mean, we're still on a mountain, but you know, I'm gonna reach it tonight, so that's something. My God, that's steep, brother. Oh, man. I'd ascended the side of the mountain, dropping off almost 1,000 meters in one fell swoop. At last arriving at the hot springs just before dark, after days of trying. Alright, so I finally arrived at the hot springs. I've armed with a beer, and I'm heading down right now. Well, I'm back at the springs. That was awesome. Unfortunately, I didn't feel good filming down there because there's a bunch of people who were just like fully naked. So I didn't feel right about that, but man, that was amazing. And had such a chill time. Drank a beer, got talking to this cool dude who we've just become friends, and he's gonna come here. We're gonna cook some food and drink some beers. I'm just gonna camp in the car park of the Termales tonight. This is awesome, it really is. The following day, I made a quick breakfast and hit the trail early, now within spitting distance of the Portuguese border. My objective on this trail for so long. This lake marks the boundary between two nations, and those jagged peaks up ahead mark the start of the wild and untamed north of Portugal. This marks the end of 8 months worth of effort, and the beginning of something new. Wild Portugal, Overlander's paradise awaits. Let's have it.